Welcome back to another hour of the Positive Hour with Travis and Brother Nate.
Gee, how's it, my brothers and sisters?
This week's topic is going to be about physical and mental health. Things that I think
Very important.
I think a lot of people take it for granted. A lot of these things. But what we'll start off is, I guess, with mental health.
Mental
first.
health is good.
So things that I can say I can speak on is the thing that I ended up getting after I had COVID, and it was long COVID, was anxiety, which was something I never had in my entire life. I never knew what it was. Now I understand what it is, and I can definitely sympathize with mental health, because before that I was just like, you're weak-minded. But now I totally understand. It's things that you just can't control, and it just starts overpowering your brain, like almost like a remote control car, but you don't have the remote control, and somebody's just trying to control you, and you're like, why the hell am I doing this?
Yep.
So, I mean, thank God Nate was there to, and a lot of my other friends was there, but Nate especially was there to help me, explain to me what the hell's going on, and kind of it's going to be okay. You just got to get over it. It just takes a little bit of time. And I didn't quite understand what the hell was going on. I didn't even know if I could trust the process, honestly. It's just, but I had so much energy. It was weird. I couldn't stay still. I didn't want to be in my house. I definitely want to be in my room. And it was just really weird. I would just stare at things and be like, holy smokes. So, I mean, I don't know, for people out there that's has that or depression. I never had depression, knock on wood. But, when you do have it, the best thing to do is, what I think for me personally, is if you can find somebody to talk to that you trust, or somebody that went through it, them telling you that, you'll come to pass. You just have to find things that will help you get over it. Exercising is really good to get over it.
Really good,
so my advice is, if you have anxiety and you don't know how to do it, I would say the first thing you do is maybe just, if you're feeling that way, get up, put on shoes, and just go running. If you don't want to do that, go out and just lift weights. You have to do something physically exertive to try to get this thing to go away. I heard that from actually many other people that told me that. I mean, Nate knows how to explain this thing very well to a lot of people, and can rationalize and also relate to you on what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, I think when people are suffering from mental health, it's like depression and stuff. You go into this circle of sadness, and so like I like to talk about the signs that I realized I had depression. All of a sudden, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I started to isolate myself. I started to think the world was against me and no one could help me. So things like that, when it comes in your head, you may be suffering from depression. Being around a lot of people, and all of a sudden you feel closed off, or you feel unrelated, or you think they're talking about you, or you thinking the worst, that people think the worst in you all the time. Could be for me, that's like stuff I was suffering when I was in my depression state. I was in depression for 3 years after I broke up with my first girlfriend. And I found out, in the walls, like Travis was saying, I was okay when I was around a lot of people, like the people that I love, like my sisters and my cousins, and they made me feel so comfortable. But the entire time that I was in that depressive state, all I could think about was going home, and home was like a prison. For like 4 walls around me just wanted to close in. And a lot of it was, for me, like I said, everyone on the podcast knows I'm a religious man. I pray to God, and I talk to God a lot, and He helped me through the process. Because things of a mental state, sometimes you cannot pull yourself out, and you need people to talk to. And for vice versa, for me, I was a very, what you would say, a angry, depressive guy. Like, I was very hard to talk to. Like, I was very not believing what you're telling me. I'll be like, no, and I was always prepared for the worst. I never saw the brighter side. I never saw any happiness. So people had a very hard time trying to pull me out of my depression. So it's a mostly of a state of mind for me where I didn't know better then, but I know now. Where when people actually come to tell you, "Are you okay? You know what's wrong?" That's the time you can share. But with me, I was closed off because I would think that person would judge me if I shared what I felt, and I think that person only thinking bad of me. And this is weird because they're trying to help me, and this is a mental state that I was in that trapped me. I trapped myself. So when I finally, like, when I met my wife, and through God and my wife pulled me out of the depression, I realized that I kept myself in that state. There's so many people that was trying to help me out of it, but I refused to get out of it because I felt like it was a stronghold. If I stayed strong in my mind, if I stayed strong and the world is against me, I would get better and I would be prepared to get hurt. But I was getting worse and worse down the hole. Like suicidal thoughts came about and all kinds of things. And there's people trying to be kind to me, and I was pushing them away because of my mental state. So in that aspect, so when I got better, I realized that since it was me, I was in denial. So what I decided to do when I helped my friends in their mental state, I did not give up. I had an acceptance. I made an acceptance that they might be mean, they might be disregarding what I sing, but I gotta keep pressing forward, and I gotta keep being there for them, and I gotta be check on them all the time. Like Travis, he was very good like that. When I got real sick during the COVID times, I never worked for 1 year because I was sick. He checked on me all the time, which was good for my mental state because I was going down in a state of depression myself because I couldn't get better, and I was trapped in the house and I didn't want to go outside because the allergies would kill me, and I just was trying to like, wow, what am I going to do to get out of this, right? But my Travis was always like, "Nate, you okay? Take this medicine, stay positive." Every day he'd call me, and that's what I learned from him too, is to keep pressing and to keep pushing the help button for people. Like keep trying to help people through their problems, even if they don't want to. If you're a true friend, I believe, and if you love that person very much, you're gonna help them. You're gonna go through them with them as you go along with them as long as it takes. Just like war. Your friend is scared in the trench, but you gotta get out of there. You're not gonna leave them in there. You gotta pull them out, and if it takes a long time, you gotta stay with them, and you gotta move through. You gotta move through steps, and you gotta keep going. Cannot give up on the person. Because if you do give up, they might kill themselves.
Yep.
They might, and you're gonna forever be regretting. For me, like, I used to think I was the toughest guy in the world. I could take on everything, but here comes a little problem. I cannot help no one because I cannot get over myself from listening to somebody who's not crumbling, obviously is crying for help in their specific way, the only way they know how, which is either violence or just depressive talk all the time. That you gotta buckle down and you gotta and you pull your friend or your family through it. And it's important that you can have patience and compassion on somebody, more so empathy, not sympathy, but empathy for that person. What you think, Trav?
No, definite. Also, another part, because Nate said on when people are depressed or have suicidal thoughts, like you said, they'll be angry, or whatever their crowd is. But also another thing that I can recall in some other of my other friends that I remember having it was that they would also just say they okay. That is a key indication right there. Nah, I'm okay. Instead of it, usually would answer it's either I'm bad or it was a really bad. I'm either bad or it's good. I'm okay. It still sits in that bad. At least in bad, at least they're being honest with themselves. One thing I noticed is that a lot of people would rather just lie and say they're good and try to just put on the face and make like it's all hunky-dory, but they're just lying to themselves. I mean, luckily I didn't have the depression, and when I had the anxiety, the only thing I knew what to do was I knew I had to talk and just get it out. When I talked to you and I talked to my wife, everything, it was just I had to talk to get it out, and then it would help alleviate the symptoms after a while. I mean, you see me. It looked like I was on some kind of drug, just pacing back and forth. I couldn't stay still. I must have walked like, I don't know, 80,000 steps in one day. I was just so amped up. But it was weird. But one thing I knew is I just had to keep trying to talk, and then just keep letting it out, and then figure out what it was. I mean, I even went to the ER because I thought my blood pressure was high. And then the doctor gave me melatonin, and then also gave me the anxiety pills, which the anxiety pill, I only took it like twice because I didn't like how it made you feel. It kind of made me feel just like I wanted to go sleep all the time. And I didn't like that. So I was like, bro, there has to be something. Thank God there was my neighbor across the street that had a concoction that kind of worked. And then my other friend that gave me mushrooms and got me onto mushrooms. Not the psychedelic ones, but just like the lion's mane and this whole mix. He made me a whole special concoction. And they all told me, one of them told me, within a week or two, you'll feel better. By the end of the month, you'll feel almost normal. And my friend said, by the time you finish this bag in a week or so, you're going to feel, it'll go away. And 99.9% was gone. There was a little point that was right there it would just kind of come and go. It was really weird. But, I mean, it pretty much subsided after about a month and a half. And then that's when I went, not promoting, but I went to Brain Health Hawaii. Did a brain scan, mapped out to see what was wrong with my brain, and I did that treatment. And it took whatever minor anxiety that was still there, it took it away. And it took away the pressure from the post-COVID that was on my head that was moving around. That's gone. And so it did something, I'm just saying. But I was taking every step. I was so desperate because I was like, I didn't feel, it was weird. It's like I just didn't feel like me, no matter how much days I came to work or whatever. It was just like, I don't feel me like how I used to feel. And then, but I did everything. I mean, we started going walking, exercising, making sure that kind of was part of the regimen. Eating way more healthier, I think, is also a big part to mental health, because it'll balance your body out. So what I'm figuring out and learning from everything I'm doing is that you kind of have to balance your body out with your nutrition. Yeah, you have. Because everything goes. If you I mean, this is things, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying things you could probably look into. For men or women, the thyroids, that will definitely affect your mental health. One. For men, your testosterone levels, check that. That will affect your mental health and energy. I mean, and there's a list of other things that I know you could probably go on that would be there, but those things I know for sure are things that you can definitely look into and ask your doctor to check if you're starting to notice something's different mentally with you, because usually that imbalance would be a big indicators.
You know, funny you should say that. You know, what you eat is very important, because you got to think what you eat controls your mind. Like anything like sugar and caffeine, they release dopamine in your mind, like almost like a drug where you cannot not think about it. So if you're eating sugar all the time, you're going to crave the sugar, and your mind cannot think anything else until you get the sugar. Same thing with heroin, same thing with crack, same thing with cocaine. All those is all what you eat. If you can control the substance what you eat, you can help your mind. That way you can think of other things instead of getting your next fix, getting your next chocolate bar. Like, for instance, when I was not watching my weight and I was pounding through like super big old Pepsis, bro, like 4 a day, you know, and then eating cakes and candy and ice cream upon that. First thing I do when I wake up, I gotta have something sweet to eat. First thing. Always. I cannot even function. Like, I have to. That's always on my mind. I cannot think about nothing else but getting a candy bar or ice cream bar. And it was controlling my mind. And then when you control your mind like that, you cannot sleep, which causes anxiety and depression. So a lot of what you eat dictates your mindset. If your body's always trying to fight that chemical that you keep putting in your body, you ain't gonna get better. You're not gonna clear your mind. You know, vice versa. If you're eating a lot of fatty and greasy foods and you're overworking your pancreas, and you get gallstones, and then you get di- you know,
Gastro.
yeah, like digestive tract failure, because you're always trying to process this grease and this fatty stuff. Your body will shut you down to force you to eat better and to heal yourself from eating that kind of stuff. So and that also going to affect your mental ability, because you think I cannot get better, but all you have to do is really watch what you eat. People say it's hard. It's hard. It is. It's a mental thing. And the only reason why it's hard, and you can look it up, is because if you're over consuming sugar, you are also indulging in the dopamine effect that it gives you. So in essence, you are getting addictive to it. Just like cigarettes, like nicotine, you're getting addicted to the sugar. So that's why in your mind is telling you it's hard, because your mind is telling you need it because you're addicted to it. Same thing with anything else, whatever that causes your life to persuade you from doing the day-to-day functions like work, take care of your family or yourself, pay your house, plant whatever you do to sustain your lifestyle. Anything that you consume in your body will help you either get through that process, like lion's mane and the mushrooms to help you focus, or you're going to take two bags of Skittles. They're going to give you one high sugar rush, and then you're going to come down from them. And then you're going to be, and then you got to get more. So your body is putting in more sugar into your body. And in essence, you're killing yourself, because you're allowing the diabetes, you're allowing the dopamine from the sugar to dictate your life.
That is true.
So in essence, it runs your mind, because that's all you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Can you expound it, because when you used to eat plenty of sugar, how you used to eat? You used to tell me about your ice cream fix that you had to eat it. Try expound to them.
M&Ms.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't luckily for me, I don't remember a crash. I just know I was addicted to the taste. So it was a sugar. I mean, and I still love to eat sweets, but I kind of, when I eat it now, it's just like, oh, why did I eat it? And I'm looking at it more differently, because more so I'm learning about what everything does in your body with all your organs, your anatomy. I've been looking at things a little bit more different, because it's just something that's just not good for you. Even I was seeing some other things the other day, that the pyramids, you remember the food pyramid we grew up on?
Yeah.
Was backwards. It was backwards. Grains is not supposed to, or the wheat or the carbs is not supposed to be the biggest part of the pyramid. It's all backwards. They were stating on there that they did that long time ago, and they needed it to do it because it was a business ploy. If you could mass produce all these wheats, then you could boom. Well, back then also, when they made that pyramid, there was malnutrition in the world. So the way to fatten people up was carbohydrates, and they actually they did that to try to make people not be malnutrition. But they didn't realize what they did is they just hyper boosted diabetes and all kind of other obesity with this diet. If you look at a lot of other countries, their diet isn't mainly carbohydrates. It's meats. It's, believe it or not, it's organs from the animals, fruits and vegetables. That's their biggest consumption. And also our portion sizes are dramatically larger than anywhere else. Like, it's just, all of these things is contributing to your physical health and also your mental health that you're not realizing. Like, for instance, people drink coffee.
Yeah.
Right? They drink coffee. Oh, I need it to go. Well, guess what? That right there is a dopamine going to your brain with the caffeine. And most people don't drink it straight black. They want to drink it with creamer and sugar. So now you're just pumping yourself with a whole bunch of additives into it. And think about it. You're chasing that energy almost all day long until you get home. What people don't realize what coffee does to you is it actually depletes your magnesium in your body. Your body needs magnesium to go to sleep. And a lot of people, I mean, there's people that can sleep on coffee. I mean, their body goes through it. But there's also a lot of other people that don't get very adequate amount of sleep due to the lack of magnesium. These are things that we were never taught. Now, with that being said, is if you don't sleep, that's like 90% of your health.
Mm-hmm.
Like every doctor I've ever talked to, and I told them, oh, it's super important to get sleep. It can help do this. They're like, yes. I mean, it's not going to cure everything, but if you can start now and you're in decent health or good health.
I can expound on sleep is important because I had sleep apnea, and it's very mental. So I used to wake up and I used to stop breathing like 60 times in a minute. Basically, stop breathing at all. My wife would wake me up, and the headaches that I would get would be crazy. I would get like nerve pains in my legs. Wow. I would get my blood pressure would go up to like 189 over 110, and I'd just be dead tired all the time, and and then nothing could heal me. I couldn't get healed. My body couldn't repair itself. So you want energy, and this is for me, you want energy, you need, like he said, you need to sleep. Sleep studies found out the more you can sleep, the more you can cure yourself from cancers and all kinds of things, because it allows your body to just concentrate on fighting all the poison in your body. Because when you're sleeping, your body is resting, you're not moving, so you're not exerting energy. So your flow of your blood and your body can fight off a lot of infections and diseases in your body from sleep. And then I notice for me, like if I get 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep, but I cannot go sleep then to the next day. Yeah. I get so much energy, and I don't even drink nothing. But I found out when I only give myself 5 hours of sleep and 4 hours of sleep, like he said, I'm chasing the dream. I'm chasing the sleep cycle. I drink more things to help me, the energy drinks. I try to drink the mushroom he gave me, and sometimes it doesn't work because the lack of sleep that I'm getting.
Yeah.
So I agree with him. If you want to, for me, I'm telling you what it works for me. You wanna get a good mental state, and you wanna be up, and you wanna have energy. Gotta sleep. You gotta sleep at least 8 hours. And as you get older, they say you gotta sleep more. It's important that if you wanna do it naturally, you go to sleep. And if you have trouble sleeping, see a doctor. See someone. You might have apnea. You might have sleep apnea, or you might have anxiety, or you might have insomnia. You might have something chemically going on in your brain that's preventing you from sleep. Or your diet. Are you consuming too much sugars? Are you consuming caffeine?
Too much salt.
Too much salt
will make you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, so it'll wake you up. So things like that. You can do stuff like not eating so much for dinner.
Yep.
Because you don't need nothing, in fact, because you're gonna go sleep. So you need no energy.
Yep. So what people don't realize is what I try to do is I try to actually make my last meal before 4:00.
That's very good.
That's my goal. And then I try to fast until 10. That's my goal. And then me and Nate, we usually go walking at like 5:36, between 1 mile and 2 miles, just to get it going. And this is to actually help your body start burning as you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast is not to educate people. Breakfast was not supposed to be there. What breakfast really meant is just breaking your fast. Yeah. And in real life back in the day you wasn't eating until you caught or made your food. That was probably until maybe 10, 11 in the afternoon. And then hopefully you had enough to eat again in the nighttime for dinner, if you're lucky. And it was before the sun would set, because they didn't have electricity back then. You couldn't see nothing. How you're cooking your eggs perfect, Well, I kind of see it in the fire. Granted, yeah, there was probably people that still ate some stuff, but in reality they probably just ate within a time frame.
Yeah.
And
because you never catch one rabbit every day, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
There wasn't fish in the ocean, in the ponds and oceans all the time.
Hawaii had though, because they had the fish ponds, so they were smart. That's a different topic, but that's not depleting your resources. But anyways, if you think about it, if you do this, you fast, and your body doesn't have to burn the food when it sleeps. It can actually repair.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to realize it's not you eat the food, you go sleep, and your body's going to repair. It's wrong. If you have a buttload of food in your body and you go to sleep,
it's still working.
It's working hard to digest the food. It's not repairing your body. It's not taking what's there to put it back in.
Yeah.
So you do actually want to kind of go, you want to eat. I'm not telling anybody I'm not a doctor, but you definitely want to eat earlier and give your body to digest the food, so when you go to sleep, it can use the nutrients.
Funny you should say that, though. This is just to jump in. If you eat earlier, you chances of acid reflux is low too.
True.
Because when you're up, you're conscious of your stomach gurgling. So you'll stand up, you exercise, you burp and stuff. But when you're sleeping, you're not self-conscious, so it comes up. So they were saying that's good if you eat early and you let your food digest, that chances of getting acid reflux is
a
low.
lot smaller.
That's interesting you say that. So
And,
sorry,
and
go
it's
ahead.
true. No, it's true. But if you want your body to heal, like I would suggest trying to change your eating time. And granted, not everybody can do that because they come home late from work, whatnot. But try to, if you are going to eat, let's say 6 o'clock, maybe go walking after you eat to help start the burning process of the food. And then when you go sleep at, I don't know what time people go sleep, 10 o'clock. Hopefully you had at least 4 hours to digest. They have charts on the internet that shows how long it takes to digest every portion of food. Yeah. Remember now, a carbohydrate may have 1,000. A 1,000 calories of carbohydrates doesn't work the same as 1,000 calories of a steak. It doesn't process the same. Yes, you're taking a caloric intake of 1,000, but it does not process through your body the same. So I mean, again, going back to your mental health with this all pertains to the sleep portion that we were talking about. So like eating and then fasting also helps your body. What people don't realize is when you fast, your body will take in the damaged cells, consume that because you don't have food, and then it will spit back out new cells to get your body to go through. If you notice, a lot of people when they get sick, they don't really like to eat too much usually. And if you notice when you don't eat, well, for me, from my chances is when I don't eat, I usually get over something really quick. It's because your body is now forced to intake.
There's what he was saying is true though, but what people don't understand that you can look it up too. The flu, COVID, cancer, they all feed off of sugar and carbohydrates. So if you deplete that, chances of getting sick and chances of you staying sick for long, and that's true. If you don't eat while you're sick, you're gonna get better, because what you're doing is you're feeding the viruses and the cancer cells when you do. Just FYI, you can look it up. It's proven fact that all these different viruses and cancers feed off of sugar. Sorry.
I mean, and if you do want to eat, I would say then just try to stay away from sugary foods or anything that would turn to sugar, which is strictly pretty much all carbohydrates.
Okay. Yeah. Talking from a fat guy point of view, this guy is pretty fit. I'm for the heavy-set brothers and sisters out there, like myself.
You're not fat, by the way.
You know, what you want to do is you want to do your best to change your diet. Or say, if you're going to eat plenty, at least eat early, like he said, and give it time to digest. And slowly work the sugars out of your system. Of course, you're going to want it because you're so adapt to it. You know, your dopamine and your mindset's telling you need the sugar, okay? It's like a drug. You got to wean it off slowly. It's like heroin. You got to go slow. Alcohol, you cannot just quit cold turkey, especially if you're a big brother and sister like me. You're gonna get hurt. But let me tell you something. If you get joint problems, you get back problems, you get sweat, you get edema. If you or some type of swelling, you take away the sugar or arthritis, it goes away. The pain subsides on its own. I have arthritis in my knee, I have arthritis in my neck, and when I was eating unhealthy, plenty sugar, it felt like I was stuck and jointed, and I felt like I was Frankenstein, and I couldn't bend my legs. Me being 295 now, when I stopped eating sugar and I stopped eating, that's all I did was just completely cut out processed sugar. Sodas and stuff like that. Oh man, the functionality of my legs and my joints was superb. And there was no pain. So that's how I know when my sugar intake for me is too high, is I get joint pain. I don't have diabetes, thank God, but I do get nerve pain in my feet and my legs. But I notice when I don't eat sugar, I don't have those things. And my mind is clearer. Because, like I said, if you're always fighting pain, too, you cannot think. And you put yourself in a depression state, too.
Yeah.
Because you cannot stop the pain from coming in. So, I'm thinking you stop eating sugar to control the pain levels and the tolerance for your body so that your mind can work on something else.
That makes sense.
and think about something else instead of only focusing on pain.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know, for the heavy set brothers and sisters out there.
I mean, I think that should pertain to just not only heavyset people, but people in general, because there could be people that are super fit that's still ingesting a big amount of processed sugars and whatnot. I mean, it's a proven fact that sugars create inflammation
And cancer.
and feeds the cancer cells.
And
for sure.
cancer.
I mean, there's so many things. I mean, you could do everything right, and by chance you still could end up with cancer. But the mindset that I would have is
Let's prevent it.
I would yeah.
Let's do everything we can to prevent it.
20% chance better than zero.
You know.
That's how I look at everything when it comes down to it. What is the percentage that it helps me not get either sick or gets me from being injured or hurt or in pain, and I weigh out that options, and I just go, okay, well, hey, 30%, if I do this every day, it's 30%, I'll take it all day long, because if I keep taking 30%, I should be surpassing other people that don't do anything. And then in the long run, they'll be like, oh, I'm in pain, or I'm really sore, or whatnot. But I mean, it's just things that we look at, or I look at in a different mindset. Is I don't, if it's, you know what I mean, if you can do it, you can afford it, or it doesn't hurt your time or whatever, or impede on what you really have to do in life, not what you like to do. Make sure people get that, understand that clearly. Why not do it? That's just how I look at it. Like, it's just a better odd. If I can better my odds, and I'm looking at the long haul, like the long shot, not no 2 years from now, 3 years from now. I'm looking like 30, 40, 50 years from now. I want to be in good shape, instead of seeing, like, you know, how some people get, and you can see that they didn't take care of it. Oh, I partied all the time. Oh, I had a great time in my 20s and 30s, and in their 40s or 50s, I don't know why I'm in a wheelchair now, or I did this. It's again, that's your mental state. How strong are you gonna let this be? And granted, there's, like I said, there's times where you're gonna run into things that are gonna just all of a sudden change. And anxiety and depression can come maybe even with age. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be that I gained anxiety because of just the stress of getting older. I don't know. Because they do say midlife crisis stuff. I'm not trying to buy a buttload of things. But everybody's one is different, you know? And I was always thinking, like, holy smokes, past our 40s or in our 40s, that's pretty much half your life, if not more, depending on what happens. And it started just psychologically changing my mindset for sure. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? I mean, if you think about it, 10 years ago is a kind of long time. But if you really play it back, it was actually if you play back every year, it's actually a really long time in 10 years. Try just go back 10 years and just go, wow, holy smokes, that's what we just was making in our 30s. And things were different. And fast forward just 10 years, you know, wow, so much things changed. And the mental health part, we never thought about that when we were in our 30s, really. Or your physical. We were just eating and drinking whatever the hell we wanted, and that's what it was. But I don't know, Nate, what do you think about that?
No, I agree. You know, as you get older, you get more wise. You know, because your body is not processing things like it's supposed to. You're not healing faster than you're supposed to, because everything in time deteriorates. As you get older, everything gets weak. So now you got to help your body now. All these times you did anything you wanted to do, and your body got your back. As it gets older now you have to do it. Your mind has to tell your body, okay, I'm going to take care of you now.
That's a damn good analogy.
So, like, you know, when you're younger, you did anything. Climb trees, run, drink, whatever, party, whatever you wanted to do. And your body's like, I got you. They're going to come in a point where, like, wear and tear on a car or seal or a rubber gasket, it gets worn down. So vice versa, like your body. Now what you have to do? Repair it. So you repair it how? Sleep, eating. You know, that's all important to your mental health and your physical health. Like I said, you want to take things out of your mind that hinder your mind. And if your body is always trying to fight for your body, if your body's always trying to fight your bad habits, you're not gonna get better.
You're gonna lose.
You gotta lose some of your habits. And you gotta really think, what is causing me to be like this, and do your best to make a change, or ask for help. That's my whole take on this part.
Well, and then there was another post I seen online from, there was a kid that said it, but I know he heard it from somebody. I can't remember who. But he said when we're little, we're rushing to get older, right? And then they said after, when we get older, we're rushing to make money. And then after that, we're making all that money to want to fix our health, which we're not getting time. And then when we're older, we're trying to go back to where we was like little kid time. You're always chasing it. You're never living in the present, which I agreed on a lot of that. You should try to live in the present, but I also believe you should always still have a goal or some kind of something you're always trying to reach for, to give you a purpose. Because eventually, when you accomplished everything that you wanted, you're not going to have as much joy as you did when you were chasing what you wanted. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So I mean, we're just trying to give the mental awareness on this half of the podcast that we're doing, of letting you guys know that when you guys have anxiety or depression or PTSD or whatever, I don't have PTSD or depression, but from the anxiety point, I can say letting it out, exercising, finding something that will let this out, exertions, diet will help. Like I said, checking your thyroid, your testosterone. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some other tests. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that there's some other things that can help with that, and just some food for thought for you guys, that if you guys are dealing with this, it can be what do you say, conquered, or go away all the way, but it can be alleviated. Would that be a safe word? But it's trusting the process. It takes time. You're never gonna be able to push a car a mile in two minutes. You gotta, it's gonna take you a little while. It's the same process. Everything takes a little while. To get good at something takes a while. To fix yourself, especially mentally, it will take a while, and it'll take persistence. And luckily, I have my wife that helps me all the time. We're always pushing each other to do it. So it's really easy when you have a good foundation, and finding a good foundation that will help you through that is a key part. And not everybody has it, but trying to find it is there. And when people are trying to help you, like how Nate said, take it. There was this one story, I forget who told me it. It was about a guy stranded on an island, and he'd pray to God every day, send me somebody to help me. And they sent a guy in a little dinghy to pick him up. Oh no, I'll wait. Then they sent another ship to come pick him up. Oh no, I'll wait. He's almost ready to die. The big ass Coast Guard comes. We're gonna save you. No, I'm gonna wait. He dies, and he goes to God, how come you didn't send anybody to save me? He goes, I sent 3 people to save you. You just chose not to take any help. And he's like, oh. So, leaving that on the last note is, when people are trying to help you, take it as, they're really trying to help you. And maybe God is sending the messenger for you. It's not always a bad thing. You have to sometimes look at it as it's good things. Not everybody has an intent or ulterior motive to it. That's a message coming, especially if you're religious and you're praying and it comes and I'm not gonna do this because it didn't work. Well, try. If you don't try, you're never gonna get anywhere.
Yep.
So just want to leave that on part 1 for you for the mental health. We'll see you guys on part 2 the next week. Aloha.